I want to thank Cindy Dunn. It's a tough act to follow. I've got no near-death experiences and no quotes from books, so Cindy's a tough act to follow. But Cindy, we're really lucky in the Lehigh Valley. I don't know how many of you have worked with Cindy Dunn or Mike Bernardine as Secretary of DCNR in Pennsylvania. And just sitting here and listening to Cindy talk about the differences of the Lehigh Valley versus other areas of Pennsylvania, and the awareness that DCNR and other entities of the state have about what we're doing here, right down to the level of specific projects, like what Dan Kunkel's doing up on the mountain, what's happening down at Ellicks Mill in Bethlehem. We appreciate that. We thank you for that, because I think those of us in the Lehigh Valley all too often have felt like they haven't been a focal point in Pennsylvania. So we thank you for your interest here, and I can attest to in just now my third year in the Lehigh County job that the folks from the state are here regularly and often and very interested and very helpful in all of what we're doing across both counties. And this conference itself, I want to thank all those who organized this, and I know Lehigh University was involved along with both the conservation districts from Lehigh and Northampton counties, the Wildlands Conservancy, the Fish and Boat Commission, the Saucon Creek Watershed Association, along with DCNR. I think it's important to list and to recognize, because this issue is really an issue about partnerships, and it's an issue about regionalization. I spent a lot of time talking on a countywide level about how we need to bring our local governments and multiple layers of government together around regional plans. And the crazy structure and system that we have in Pennsylvania, multiple municipalities, don't always allow us to have the most efficient and effective ways to do things across regional boundaries, across whole counties, or across whole regions. And this issue, I think, is exemplary of water flows. It doesn't know when it's flowed from Upper Macungie or Lower Macungie, when it's moved from Lehigh County or Northampton County, or whether it's traversed farmland or a suburban strip shopping mall. So those of you who focus on and care about issues of water quality and impact on the watershed have to be focused, as you all know, on how we do things as a region, how we plan as a region, that what we do in one municipality affects another municipality. I want to very briefly just touch on a couple of things in Lehigh County that we've tried to focus on over the last few years, one of which is the creation of a Congress of Governments. And what this is putting all 25 of the municipalities, whether they be rural, agricultural townships, suburban townships, boroughs, or cities, their leaders, their elected leadership, into one governmental entity, that they actually have to pass a resolution and have done that back at their local government to be there at the table. And interestingly, and I couldn't have said this 10 years ago or 12 years ago when I was mayor of the city of Bethlehem, interestingly, the number one issue that these folks picked to work on was smart growth, land use, impact of development, and how we're growing as a region. I'm telling you, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have found all 25 local governments sitting at the same table, and you wouldn't have found people from the suburbs, the rural areas, and the cities identifying issues of growth and impact on the environment and how we grow as a core issue in the Lehigh Valley. And this is a very encouraging development. And right now, this group of people is meeting to work on things, because we all know that land use plan and zoning ordinances and planning ordinances and what we do with sewer ordinances is really what a lot of this issue will come down to on water quality. And we have these local government folks seeing and believing and thinking that this is critical and this is important. We will make great progress and great strides, because smart growth is critical to preserving our watersheds. And watershed protection, as we all recognize here today, is vital to protecting our property and the environment of our community by reducing the impact of flood, erosion, and water pollution. Something in Lehigh County we've been a strong believer in and invested heavily in is our farmland preservation program. We're proud of the fact that we rank third of all the counties in Pennsylvania in the number of preserved farms, and and fifth in the number of preserved acres, with over 18,000 acres of preserved farmland. We also understand that we have to preserve the farmer, and that preserving the land is not enough in and of itself. We want to preserve the great occupation of farming. Next year's budget, we put $12 million from our reserve funds into our Green Future program. And that money will go to more farmland preservation. Last year we spent $8 million on farmland preservation. This year's $12 million will go towards urban parks, preservation of open space, and to farmlands. And this picture was taken yesterday. One of the things that we worked closely with DCNR and others on is we have this great asset in Lehigh County that we now call the Trexler Nature Preserve, because many people know this land just as the zoo, which is about 50 or 60 acres where we show and display some animals. But this is 1,100 acres of beautiful land with streams running through it and all different types of landscape on it that we, in a passive way, we want the public to be able to experience more and to utilize. So we've embarked on a process about a $2.75 million program to put down some passive nature trails to remove autumn olive invasive species, which has taken over a lot of that land. We've had a great partnership with the Wildlands Conservancy to do this. And for the first time, we will have fishing, stock fishing in the Jordan Creek. And one of the really neat things that we've been able to do is open up a good portion of this land to the handicapped kids and adults of the county, where they'll be able to fish there. We have a handicapped accessible trail being built there. So in Lehigh County, in addition to that, and final, I'll say to you that we also recognize now in local and county government, we have to do things that we used to be able to hope that the federal government would do. So John Stoff and I, the counties have signed on the Kyoto Accords, and Lehigh County beginning this year, will embark on a full energy conservation overhaul of all of our buildings to make them energy efficient and lessen our impact on the environment. So let me say that, again, conclude where I started. Thank you for all of your involvement in this. We're trying to do our part at the county government level and the local government level to make sure that our valley is as green and our water is as safe